Democrats work on their strategy to counter President Trump ahead of the 2020 election, anti-racism activist Tim Wise, who helped defeat David Duke in 2 campaigns in the 1990s, provided this advice to Democrats. He tweeted, "What the left never understands is we need to stop approaching elections like the debate team and start approaching it like the right does, like the cheerleading squad. The right knows psychology, and we know public policy and sociology. Great. The latter does not win elections." Joining me now is Tim Wise, the author of White Like Me, Reflections on Race from a Privileged Son, and Eugene Robson, columnist at the Washington Post. Tim, this theme of yours, which, I have serendipitously came to myself over the weekend about the morality of this election, and to think about it as a Manichaean struggle between good and evil. Talk about your thinking, which is more analytical about it.
Yeah, one of the things that we learned dealing with David Duke, and I'm not trying to say Duke and Trump are the same, but they both appeal to white racial resentment as the yeast that makes their political bread rise. And when you are dealing with a movement that focuses on that, in a sense, a white identity cult, to act like they are just another candidate, to say, well, yeah, he's sort of racist, and that was really racist what he did, but look at my policy to make college affordable, or look at my better health care plan that's going to be so much better than his, is to miss the point. With Duke, what we learned is you have to make this a moral message that Dukeism, and I would say now Trumpism, pose an existential threat to the values that Americans hold dear. So in other words, when they say that the squad hates America, no. Your movement hates America as an idea of multiculturalism, of pluralism, and of democracy. That's the only way we're going to motivate the base. It's the only way we're going to get reasonable moderates and conservatives who probably are never going to agree on policy with the candidates the Democrats have, but they can come together on the basis of a moral message, and we can live to fight another day about the issues that we care about once the Democrat has defeated Donald Trump.
Gene, your reaction to that?
Well, I've read Tim's thread with great interest over the weekend. In fact, I retweeted it. I thought it was, I thought it had great insights, particularly the bit about the debating team versus the cheerleading squad. And you look at the field of Democratic candidates, and I totally agree that if it's sort of emotionless policy, no matter how wonderfully, finely constructed and put together, that's no competition to the sort of emotional, visceral appeal that Trump is making to his base. And I also agree that there are not a lot of persuadables here. There are not a lot of undecideds here. Yeah. After Charlottesville, after, name your atrocity, I think the people who were part of Trump's coalition in 2016 who said, basta, I've had enough with this guy, they probably have said that, right? They're probably not going to say it between now and then. They probably are not still teetering on the fence. So I don't know what you gain by trying to appeal to what I think is kind of a mythical group of people you're going to peel away from him.
Well, Tim, a lot of these, I'm looking at the candidates, and even after just one debate, everybody watching now watch that debate. There'll be another in a couple of weeks. Each of these candidates in the Democratic side have already got banners they're carrying. They're carrying the banner about Medicare for all. They got a banner on immigration issues, about compassion at the border, whatever, student loan issues. They have a lot of banners they're already trucking out there. How do they put them aside, or at least deflect from them for a moment and say, no, you know what? It's not about left or right or policy prescriptions. It's about what kind of country we want to be. How does anybody sort of get themselves, disarmed at least to make that point?
Well, I think any of those debaters on the stage and the debates coming up ought to lead by saying, listen, we have some disagreements on this stage, and I happen to like my plans better than the podium next to me's plans. But the truth is, every one of us up here has better ideas for this country than Donald Trump, and we hope that you will check them out. But in the meantime, please understand that this movement he is leading poses a threat to the values that this country holds dear. It is a movement that is opposed to pluralism, opposed to multiculturalism. It is a white identity cult, and we all can do better than that. Now, I also think it's important to take those issues and filter them through a lens that contrasts them with the white resentment politics. So, for example, if I'm a candidate who wants to talk about Wall Street or how corporations don't pay their workers enough, I need to be saying, you know, Donald Trump wants you to think that the reason your paycheck isn't big enough is because taxes are going to support people of color or immigrants are taking your job. What we're telling you is, no, that's not the source of your problem. Here's the source of your problem. But you're always linking it back and making it clear that Donald Trump is essentially a walking, talking opiate. We talk about the opioid crisis as being heroin and fentanyl. Donald Trump is a human breathing opioid. What does an opioid do? It says, I can take away your pain, but it doesn't actually solve the source of your pain. That is what these individuals should be saying. That is what we said against David Duke in 90 and 91, and it is the only thing that prevented a Nazi and former Klansman from winning those races.
If I'm one of the candidates, Gene, besides, other than Joe Biden, I'm hearing this and I'm saying, yeah, that's the Joe Biden strategy. Go after Trump, saying I didn't like what happened in Charlottesville. I didn't like that president siding up with bad guys. And I'm one of the other candidates. I say, you know what? That's Biden's strategy.
Well,
my strategy is to beat Biden.
Well, right, exactly. I mean, first of all, somebody's got to come out on top, right? So they're competing against each other. But I think it's a great point. Look what happened to Biden when he launched his campaign with that appeal. He immediately rocketed to the top. He's still at the top, despite to say the least, an uninspiring performance.
Suppose Kamala said, "I'm going to do that."
She can totally.
They can all do it.
They can all do it, and they should. I mean,
Marianne Williamson's doing it. If Marianne Williamson's doing it, they can all do it.
Okay, Tim, you've been a great guest. It's great to have you on. I'll see you in about 5 years. Just kidding. Let's focus on the ones that can win. I think it's 4 or 5
I'm teasing.
I'm
teasing.
Okay, thank you. It's a good argument, you know, because I had it this week, and I think the moral issue is important. And in the end of history, it's going to matter the most. Who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? And I think we're going to see that. One thing we know about this election, it's beautiful. We were talking about it with our producers today. Rarely in history do we know so much about one of the two candidates. We know about who he is, what he is, and how he does business. We know Donald Trump from toe to head. We know everything. We don't have to look any further into understanding who he is. What we have to spend the next year and a half doing is finding somebody who can beat him.
Exactly.
Because I think we really know this guy. We don't need to know any more about Donald Trump. He ain't going to change. That's a thought.
Right.
I'm sticking with that one. Good luck with the Williamson campaign, Tim. Just kidding.
I'm teasing.
You're a good teaser. Thank you. You got me.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.